Please take your seats. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jay Shimshak, the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs and Professor of Public Policy and Economics at the Frank Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy. I'm probably not who you expected to see standing before you at the podium today. I know I'm not who I expected to see standing at the podium today. The entire Batten community deeply regrets that Dean Ian Sullivan is unable to host this event due to illness, but I assure you he is here in celebratory spirit. I can also say that he's watching via live stream, so hi, Dean Sullivan. I'm sure he'd appreciate graduates if you also said hi, Dean Sullivan. Awesome, thank you. We could not have asked for a more beautiful venue for this incredibly special occasion. That said, it is hot. Please stay hydrated throughout the evening. We have water coolers spread throughout the property. If you feel a need to get up and move about to cool down, please do not hesitate to do so. The building you passed on your way in with the small gift shop is air conditioned. And if you need more support, please flag down any member of the Batten staff for additional assistance. Batten team, can you raise your hands, please? Around the edges there, thank you. On my end, I promise to keep this ceremony as focused as possible so we can all get under the shaded pavilion to celebrate our graduates, which is what tonight is all about. With that brief introduction out of the way, it is my great pleasure to join my faculty and staff colleagues in welcoming all of you, our graduates, their families, their loved ones, to the Batten School's academic regalia ceremony, part of the University of Virginia's 193rd final exercises. Today is truly a reason to celebrate. In founding the school in 2007, Frank Batten Sr. had a vision to bring together top graduate and undergraduate students to develop effective and ethical leaders to promote a better society and to work together to find solutions to the world's most pressing public policy challenges. Mr. Batten had high expectations for this program. Our faculty and staff continue to have high expectations for this program. And I'm truly delighted to say that this amazing group of graduates has risen to those high expectations, even in challenging times. On a personal note, it has been one of my life's true honors to teach Batten students, including, I believe, all of the MPP students that are with us today. Given the truly exceptional talent in the Batten graduating class as a whole, it gives me exceptional pleasure to introduce you to two specific students who were selected to represent the class of 2022 as class speakers. They represent our undergraduate and MPP cohorts. Our first speaker is Natalie Abbey, who was selected. I'm offended that was much louder than it was for me. Natalie was selected by her classmates to represent the undergraduate cohort. Natalie is a fourth-year student at the University of Virginia, where in addition to her Batten degree, she is double majoring in global development studies. She's a co-founder of an organization at UVA called Bridge, bringing race into dialogue with group engagement. And after graduation, I understand she is headed to Spain. Natalie, please join us.
How we doing, y'all? Hot enough for you? Yeah, don't worry, I'll tone down the heat on my speech. Don't worry about it. All right. As Batten students, we're known for a lot of things. Let's see how we feel about them. Give me thumbs up, thumbs down. According to our website, we are defining a new model of public policy education. Yeah, feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. That's what we're doing here. According to Capitol Hill, we're a strong pool of applicants. All right. According to Professor Player, where are you at? We're the bestest. And according to Commerce Kids, we are stiff competition for Deloitte analyst positions. And according to our Instagram audience, we are the people of the Batten Bounce. Now, for those who don't know, it is my honor to invite President of Batten Undergraduate Council, President Ned Flanagan, to the stage for a brief demonstration. Ever man of the people, President Ned, everyone. Round of applause. So, what else are people saying about Batten? Recent graduates have described the value of the Batten experience in a number of ways. A degree at Batten is a degree in effective communication, a degree in collaboration, in nuanced awareness, in problem solving. As Batten students, we are all here because we are on the move. And whether or not we become leaders with official titles or pursue a career in policy, we're thinkers. We are doers. We are builders. And wherever our respective post-graduation paths take us, we will continue building. Building careers, building adventures, building ideas, businesses, networks, policy proposals, families, communities. But building doesn't happen in isolation. Building is powered by relationships that challenge us, that broaden our perspectives, that hone our focus, and that uplift us. And these kinds of relationships were not given for us in these past couple of years. I'm in a room full of policy people. We know how gnarly the pandemic was and how it ruptured connectivity. Notwithstanding, we learned to build a knowledge base in the virtual world. We built skill sets. And most importantly, we built community. So where do we go from here? We'll all land on various paths, but wherever we go, as people who care about the state of the world, we'll feel the ups and the downs of both our personal lives and society around us. If we continue to care about policy and about peace, we're all headed for a life where hope is through other people, happiness is with other people, and let's be honest, sometimes hell is other people. That sounds both rewarding and messy to me. But the beauty, the blundering, and the building of relationships begets moments of meaning. And meeting these moments requires us to be builders. Builders who relate restoratively. Builders who are comfortable with being uncomfortable. Builders who are game changers and are grounded in bold humility. I've learned the foundation pieces for being that kind of a builder from the people who got me into Batten, shout out mom and dad, and from the people who are sitting in front of me. So cheers to the work that we've done and for all the people that us graduates wouldn't be here without. Cheers to our families, to our supporters. Cheers to Paul Martin for making us write like 100 response papers. Cheers to Peter Johansson for making us write a beast of a comparative policy paper. Cheers to the administrators, all the professors, and all the friends that we've made. We've got spunk, we've got spark, we're naive, And we're ready to rumble. So cheers to our Batten grads and to a life of broad horizons, beautiful relationships, and building into the future. Thank you. And before I step down, I've been asked to get a little bit of an Instagram moment for us here. So if you saw the Batten bounce, and you were saying to yourself, man, I wish I got to Batten bounce. Now is your opportunity. Now is your opportunity. So if I can get everyone to stand on up, stand on up, stand on up. And if you can't stand, you can clap. All right, I'm gonna give us a 1, 2, 3. If you're not standing, go ahead and clap for us. I'm gonna Batten bounce on 3. Ready? Batten bounce, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Batten bounce. Yeah! All right, fully sanctioned by the Instagram community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm confident Dean Solomon would have done the Batten bounce, but nobody needs to see that from me. Next, please welcome Alexandria Pinckney, who was chosen by her classmates. Some of whom may be here this evening, on behalf of the MPP class. Alexandria is from Peachtree City, Georgia. She earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from the University of Georgia in 2020. She'll soon be moving to Washington, D.C. Well, she'll be working for Avalier Health. Did I get that right? Thank you. A healthcare consulting firm just a few steps away from the White House. Welcome, Alexandria.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dean Solomon, wherever you are. This is really special for a lot of reasons. But as Dean Simshak said, I graduated in 2020. It was pretty atypical of a graduation. And I'm sure a lot of y'all out there, this is like your first graduation since high school. So it's really special to be here today. I believe that policy students are plagued by a sense of urgency. We are predisposed to identify the bad and the ugly, and we want to implement a solution to fix it yesterday. So we embark on an academic journey at the Batten School because we want to believe that as long as we have the answers or we have the tools to arrive at the right answers, then we can get stuff done. And if we have all the answers to all the questions, then why wouldn't we make it happen and make it happen quickly? Batten students want to get stuff done. However, my favorite times at the Batten School have been the moments where life has slowed down. I will never forget hearing Professor Mbidi tell his class about his innovative Halloween costumes, ranging from Flava Flav to Steve Urkel, or hearing his daughter cry in the background of our Zoom lectures, and hearing him explain, it seems like someone is protesting nap time. I also remember when Professor Shimshak accidentally spilled water all over a toaster in Garrett Hall, and it was the talk of the town for about a day. Or when my impact evaluation class would leisure on the steps of the rotunda every Tuesday and Thursday before class and beg Professor Hudson to teach class outside, and how excited we were when she finally agreed to do so. These interactions were pretty insignificant in the grand scheme of the school year, but in those moments, professors humanized themselves, which is something I never took for granted. Life slowed down and was put into perspective. These moments also happened outside of the classroom. They took the form of getting a weekly coffee at Grit on the corner, and being disappointed when the tab had run out before I could get my free coffee. It also looked like taking a spin class with fellow first and second year students and watching everyone struggle to keep up. It also looked like having the most fun despite losing every single intramural volleyball game with my intramural team last semester and losing our minds when we finally won one match. However, it was best 2 out of 3 matches, so we still lost the game. Oh man. It also looks like going to Carter Mountain every Thursday and watching the sunset over the Blue Ridge Mountains with a cider in one hand and a donut in the other. I'm going to read y'all a reflection I wrote a few weeks ago regarding my experience doing my year-long capstone project, where I aim to find ways to reduce the number of chronically homeless individuals in Richmond, Virginia. At times, I felt very defeated. I think most policy students have a complex, and I'm no exception. The world was not waiting on a 23-year-old master's student to fix homelessness. Tens of thousands of people have attempted to solve this problem, and thousands of solutions have already been tried. I so badly wanted to figure it out, and there were days I couldn't. This year was understanding that policy is marginally implemented, and I'm contributing to an entire conversation that did not start with me and certainly will not end with me. And I'm learning to believe that's okay. Policy often doesn't work like we want it to. Having the answer isn't always good enough. It doesn't guarantee that we'll be granted access to the right people, or that we'll have enough money or time, or that enough people will care. So much feels out of our control. And when talking to a policy student with an overwhelming sense of urgency, and now an impressive toolkit in the form of a degree, that reality can be daunting. But in hindsight, I don't think it's any surprise that my favorite moments at Batten have been the times where I've been forced to slow down amidst life's uncertainty. My moments most certainly look differently than yours, but I hope you've found the same value as I have, because I think this dichotomy is pretty reflective
the
of
times
what
where
I've
I've
been
been
forced to
do.
slow down amidst life's
Develop
uncertainty.
a group of professionals to think
My moments
analytically
most certainly
and
looked empathetically, to contribute significantly to communities big and small, and foster meaningful relationships along the way. I am still a 23, almost 24-year-old who doesn't have the answer to most things, and I argue that most of the people in front of me and beside me can offer you more insights than I can, but on this day, I hope to leave you with just one lesson. Our value isn't and never has been tied to how quickly we can get something done. Our value is in our intellects, our resiliency, our perspectives, and our creativity. There is so much to be gained from asking why and why not, and leaning into the uncertainty when the answer isn't always certain. Good policy takes time, but great policy takes longer. We have so much to offer, and we will be offered so many opportunities to do so now and the rest of our lives. And I can't wait to see how we make the world better in the biggest and smallest of ways. I'm rooting for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. It is now my great honor to welcome General Paul M. Nakasoni to the stage to deliver our commencement address. General Nakasoni is a 4-star general in the United States Army who serves as commander of the U.S. Cyber Command and concurrently as director of the National Security Agency and chief of the Central Security Service. He assumed command of the U.S. Cyber Command, the National Security Agency, and the Central Security Service in May of 2018, where he leads the U.S. military's preeminent cyberspace and signals intelligence teams. General Nakasoni has served on assignments in the United States, the Republic of Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, and his most recent overseas posting as Director of Intelligence, J2, International Security Assistance Force Joint Command in Kabul, Afghanistan. General Nakasoni's awards and decorations include the Distinguished Service Medal, the Defense Superior Service Medal, Legion of Merit, Bronze Star, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Joint Service Achievement Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Joint Meritorious Unit Award, Iraq Campaign Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal, Combat Action Badge, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff Identification Badge. A native of White Bear Lake, Minnesota, General Nakasoni and his wife Susan are the proud parents of 4 children, including a member of the Batten School's graduating MPP class. Please join me in welcoming General Paul M. Nakasoni.
Dean, thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, Dean Solomon. Alexandria and Natalie. Ned, thank you very much for setting the bar very high. It is extremely great to be here, both as a parent and as the speaker today. Hello, Who's. I'm honored to be here, as I said, to celebrate Batten School's class of 2022. Congratulations to all the graduates and relieved parents out there. So the beauty of Charlottesville, with the scenic Shenandoah Valley and the iconic Blue Ridge Mountains just off in the distance, and the world-renowned majesty of the university with the rotunda, the lawn, the chapel, and the pavilion gardens, the views are truly remarkable. Now, I imagine Frank Batten, the founder of your school, walking the grounds 52 years ago and being struck by the same beauty. The bald cypress, alderman oak, and Yulon magnolia trees may have been a bit smaller during his time at UVA, and he likely couldn't stroll around admiring the views of the Bodo's Bagel. But the magic, that beauty, must have affected him as it does me, and I imagine all of you as well. But while the scenery is stunning, it's the people and the community here that make students and visitors feel rapidly at home. It's an ideal place for all of you graduates to build foundations that will serve you well in your life journey as a leader in public policy. Today we celebrate your graduation from the Batten School, a remarkable achievement that provides each of you the critical foundation of leadership training. I think if Frank Batten were here today, he would agree that at the center of opportunity and challenge rests leadership. Leadership, the simple idea of inspiring, influencing, guiding others to achieve goals and objectives, is anything but simple. Great leaders are not born, rather they are made. The foundations of leadership can be learned, just as you have learned at Batten. However, given leadership always involves people, it must be practiced, assessed, and adapted to turn your actions into art. Leadership has been essential to address the significant challenges we have faced as a nation: war, economic downturn, disease eradication, civil rights. Each have called on individuals to step forward, and each of you will be called upon to step forward to be the right person at the right time. As a lifelong student of leadership, I have seen and served under incredible leaders, those that have clearly left their mark in history, but more importantly, left their imprint on future generations of leaders by their example. Great leaders, in my view, they have uncommon integrity, they have vision, and they have a desire to give back. As you consider how you put these leadership concepts into action, it's worth considering the strategic environment to which you enter. If you have started thinking past the festivities of today, you may be wondering what is in store for you. Hopefully you're filled with excitement, maybe a little anxiousness, and perhaps a little bit of apprehension. All of this is understandable. You're starting your new journey as Batten School graduates at a time when our nation is confronted with an increasingly complex world. Admittedly, the world Frank Batten graduated into was complex too. Rubble and ruin seen across most of Europe as a result of the destruction brought on by World War II. Many still mourning loved ones lost during the war. Tensions rising in what would become a decades-long ideological and geopolitical struggle for global influence between the United States and Soviet Union. Yet, it was also a time of great optimism for the future, with a booming economy and higher expectations for oneself and their families. It was the start of a golden age. Today, The People's Republic of China is our most consequential strategic competitor. In addition, Russia poses acute threats, as we've seen by the brutal and unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Then there is the need to manage our persistent threats, including those from North Korea, Iran, and violent extremist organizations. Changes in global climate and other dangerous transboundary threats, including pandemics, are transforming the context in which public policy is made. Add to this the impact of technological interconnectedness over the last 20 years, both the opportunities it has created and the new risks it exposes us to. Headlines many of you have probably seen, from foreign countries trying to interfere with the conduct of elections to cyber attacks that try to disrupt and extort schools and hospitals. So are you feeling a little more anxious about the world you're about to enter as leaders and public policy graduates? Well, Frank Batten likely had similar feelings to you all now. But he had established a great foundation from his education at UVA, like all of you now possess. And he had a great mentor and influencer in his life, his uncle or surrogate father, who taught him a bit about leadership and people. I focus on Frank Batten because he personifies leadership qualities that align with my views on what all great leaders have: integrity, a vision for the future, and a strong desire to give back to their communities. To him, personal success meant making the most of what is given to you and along the way, improving your community and our nation as a whole. Let us touch briefly on the example he offers. We begin with uncommon integrity, the principle I hold first to. Just 2 years after gaining his MBA from Harvard, likely his second choice school, Frank's uncle put him in charge of running 2 Norfolk, Virginia papers, the Virginian Pilot and the Ledger-Star. This was in 1954. He was only 27 years old and completely inexperienced about the newspaper business. But as I mentioned before, he had a great foundation that would see him through some of his toughest times. And those tough times soon came with the Supreme Court decision in the case of Brown versus the Board of Education in May 1954 that mandated school desegregation across the country. Think about what was happening around him. Some of America's major cities experienced violent protests. Political leaders in Virginia and much of the American South condemned the Supreme Court's decision and vowed to defy it. They called for a massive resistance, movement to the court's decision, implementing a collection of laws that was meant to forestall or prevent the integration of public schools. Yet Batten, a strong proponent for desegregation, acted contrary to the culture that prevailed around him. He persisted because of his uncommon integrity and passion for this issue. Through the Virginian Pilot, he came out strongly against Virginia's efforts to stymie the implementation of Brown versus the Board of Education. Batten did this despite opposition from his community and even within his own business. His efforts paid off. When schools started to integrate in Norfolk years later, it was by no means perfect, but it was done with public debate, legislative maneuvering, and judicial action rather than violence and physical confrontation. The Virginian Pilot editorial's position, while controversial early on, played a role in moderating the desegregation debate within his community. Let's look at the second principle, vision. A great leader must have vision. Let's look at his part in founding a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, all-weather cable channel. When he was a Who, Frank Batten may have had an interest in weather, but he certainly wasn't thinking about a 24-hour weather channel then. Back in those days, television was black and white, not even in every home, and you actually had to stand up. You had to stand up to change the TV channel. I know that. I was my parents' remote control. So, a 24-hour all-weather program channel was not something that Batten foresaw when he graduated from UVA. Even in the 1980s, very few thought this would succeed. But it came about because Batten had a vision to make something possible despite skepticism and pushback, and he was persistent. The result is what we know of today as the Weather Channel and Weather.com. 40 years after the Weather Channel's debut, how many of you have an app on your phone that pulls your local weather forecast from Weather.com? Or perhaps you watched the Weather Channel this morning wondering, how hot is it actually going to be? The point is, Be willing to do something unexpected and different. Make change, even if it makes waves. Have a vision for it and put a strategy in place to help see your vision through to the end. Let's now focus on Batten's desire for service and wanting to give back to his community. This is particularly relevant because it is that desire to give back that has provided the chance to be here today to honor the graduates of the Frank Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy. As I mentioned before, Batten saw it as a responsibility to give back to his community and our nation. In addition to developing a media empire as a public service that was built on honesty and integrity and ethics, he also valued education. To Batten, education preserves a strong society and business community. It can and should be open to everyone so that we all live and work in a society that is more diverse, equal, and inclusive. More specifically for the Batten School, he saw the need for an institution that focused on developing future leaders who understand the responsibilities and the opportunities of public life. Leaders who have a predisposition towards action. Leaders that can and will tackle the most complicated public policy issues our world confronts today. This is his legacy. You are his legacy. So remember the leadership characteristics that Frank Batten personified: uncommon integrity, vision, commitment to service, and giving back to your community. This will serve you well in your future journeys. From my experience of 35 years in service to this country, let me close with how you can build on the strong foundation you've built by graduating from Batten. The most important thing you can do is invest in yourself and your community by being a lifelong learner and continually seek out opportunities to influence and grow others. Reading is the surest way to stay in the mindset of a lifelong learner. Read as much as you can across all genres and ideas. You can never really read enough. It will also ensure that you continue to learn about different perspectives, different likelihoods, and different cultures. Take the time to reflect on your strengths and weaknesses and be deliberate about learning into those areas of discomfort as an avenue of growth. Equally important is building your personal collections and relationships with others to share ideas and perhaps even the Batten bounce and become part of your supportive foundations to enable them to grow and prosper and to enable our nation to grow and prosper together. Maintain these relationships you've built. Maintain the relationships you've built. Some will become lifelong friends, partners, colleagues, godparents to your children, and most importantly, friendly faces who want to see you thrive and succeed. Batten started out with little knowledge of the newspaper business, but gradually built 2 papers into a major media and communications company. He did this through continued learning and adapting to the changing needs of the world and his community. Business partners, friends, and advisors helped him along the way, and his uncle acted as a motivating force who drove Batten into the leader he became. To wrap this up and enable you to enjoy the rest of the regalia, here are a few final parting thoughts from me to you. Remember to thank all of the people who made today possible. Your family and friends, Daniel, of course, but also the school staff, faculty, and administrators who worked so hard over these past year. Take a few moments to reflect upon the beauty and sense of community here and on campus one last time before you leave. Appreciate being present, here and now. When you come back, it will still be a remarkable place, but it will never look or feel quite the same. Familiar, yes, but different. Be brave enough to build something like Batten did. Build something that will enable you to thrive and help create a more diverse, equal, and inclusive community. Something that will continue to give back long after you are gone from the earth. It may seem like you're heading out into a stormy world. Start anyway. Build something that takes more than a day or a year or even 10 years. Most things in life that are truly worth something, strong relationships, a rewarding career, even meaningful hobbies, take time and effort. And remember your reasons for serving and revisit this often. It will help motivate, encourage, and inspire you to push your boundaries and make it through the toughest points in your life's journey. Thank you. Congratulations, graduates. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much for those words of wisdom, General. I would now like to invite Jill Rockwell, Senior Assistant Dean for Student and Career Services, to the front of the stage for the presentation of academic regalia to our students. While Jill is walking up here, please, please, please remember to stay hydrated.
Thank you, Dean Shimshak. Tonight, we will present stoles to the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy and Leadership, and hoods to our candidates for the degree of Master of Public Policy. The stoles and hoods are fashioned in the color assigned to the field of public policy, a beautiful peacock blue that at least one of your relatives is wearing because we already commented on it. It is the historic color of truth and wisdom. I would now like to ask Professors Dan Player and Gabe Adams to come forward to present our students with their regalia. Professor Player will be presenting the stoles to our BA students. He was selected for this honor by the undergraduate cohort, and Professor Adams was selected by our MPP students to present them with their hoods. Given the heat, as your graduates may or may not have told you, I'm not sure they're all reading emails this week, so I will remind you, we are no longer hosting our scroll photo event tomorrow, and instead we'll be capturing those same shots here tonight. So the X's to our students are going to mark your regalia first, and then the next X is your scroll photo. So as our students are processing across the stage, to our guests, you may come down to capture a picture of your graduate as they are crossing the stage. And to our graduates, I've been checking up on you for the last few years on vaccine status and keeping you healthy. And I see a real trip hazard right here, so please be careful as you cross the stage. In addition to receiving their regalia, Dean Shimshak, who was also selected by our students for this honor, will be presenting a faux diploma to our graduates this evening, and I promise you the real ones are in the mail. So you may step forward also. So with that, I am happy to announce that 87 students have fulfilled the academic requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy and Leadership. Dean Shimshak, family members, and friends, I am pleased to present the University of Virginia's 2022 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy and Leadership. Natalie Abbey. Kristen Emily Adams. Elizabeth Victoria Adamayo. Cassandra Rose Bailey. Mia Elizabeth Bailey. Helen Grace Beeman. Lily Catherine Barris. Shreya Reddy Chapidi. Sydney Catherine Cherry. Rashid Naeem Christian. Lauren Ashley Cochran. Benjamin Carey Cohen. Stella Connaughton. Caroline Lauren Daniel. Caitlin Cao Din. Thien Kim Din. Gabriella Rachel Diskin. Kathleen Virginia Dodds. Lizette Danielle DeBow. Lee Pendleton Dudley III. Joshua Evan Iger. Rosemary Liliana Caldwell Eldridge. Edward Walter Flanagan. Jane Elliott Frankel. Jessica Melanie Friedman. Singyao Mei Gong. Anisha Gadala. April Grossman. Catherine Adams Hall. Hannah Najib Hassan. Rohan Vishwas Hegde. Matthew Heller. Audrey Anna Hirschberg. Ho Wong Lin Chi. Clara Ann Jackson. Ella McConway Jensen. Mario Javon Jones. Katya Nicole Yonkers. Abigail Elizabeth Keats. Michael Scott Lewis Kearns. Claire Dana Copel. Zoe Olivia Comodromos. Valencia Joy Lagbo. Sydney Landis. Harry Lazar. Donovan Alexander Lee. Christina Hope Manabusen. Isabel Grace Mayer Mora. Mary Catherine McCullough. Kaylee Mackenzie O'Donnell McDonough. Sabrine Kasai Muhammad Noor. Kelly Lauren Moore. McLean Ann Moran. Samuel James Uris. Caitlin Clark Murphy. Samuel Dana Nall. Kelly Elizabeth Ozarski. Kirsten Malloy Perella. Jessica Trin Pentel. Harini Perry. Rand Franklin Perry. Annika Ruth Prinz. Sydney Jordan Pulliam. Maeve Louise Quinn. John Worthington Reardon. Benjamin Henry Rosenthal. Zachary Aiden Rosenthal. Ishan Sarup. Anna Elizabeth Sexauer. Manan Ashok Shah. Porter Brown Simmons. Sophie Skinner. Eli Isaac Smolin. Ethan Joshua Spira. Daniel Lewis Stockmall. Emma Catherine Stovall. Ian Cohen Tobin. Anna Kerrigan Terrell. Philip Regal Weymouth. Fuller Anderson Wise. Catherine Lindsay Wozniak. Kelly Maureen Quinn Wolf. Catherine Ann Yared. Catherine Elizabeth Zane. And Katie Jung. The BA class of 2022. Congratulations. I am now happy to announce that 91 students have fulfilled the academic requirements for the degree of Master of Public Policy. Dean Shimshak, family members, and friends, I am pleased to present the University of Virginia's 2022 candidates for the degree of Master of Public Policy. Morgan Myers Ackley. Cameron Anderson. Alexa Therese Angelo. The hoods take a little longer. We'll go a little slow demo. Lindsay Baker. Claire Berg. Ethan Kirk Betterton. Logan Botts. Molly Elizabeth Brindamore. Julian Michael Brock. Allison Grace Brown. Dylan Brian Burke. Hannah K. Byram. Alyssa Irizarry Candelmo. Paul Allen Cederoth. Alyssa Taylor Coles. Catherine Joy Covington. Katie Elizabeth Cox. Trevor Alex Dwyron. Davy Bahiru Daguma. Andrea Catherine Eichenberger. David Robert Erzin. Brian Lee Everhart. Maya Catherine Ewart. Lucy Rose Fowle. Diana Christie Gator. Rodrigo Gamboa Pineda and son. Miguel Alejandro Garcia Moya. You make it?
Your mic is a little.
Nicholas Sebastian Gersten. Hannah Leslie Griffin. Hallie Margaret Griffiths. Wade Garney Griggs IV. Maxwell Theodore Halbrunner. Todd Madison Hall. Owen Hart. Catherine Hastings. Kevin William Patrick Heaney. Garrett Neal Hicks. Aubrey Annette Hobby. Andrew Ryan Lounsbury Holmes. Lena Hong. Lucy Rose Hopkins. Savannah Hayden Horton. Jae Ying Wong. Cheyenne Rose Johnson. Ebony Deneen Johnson. Emma Jolie Carnes. Austin Dirk Ketstra. Paulina Mitsuko Time. Jane Ann Langford. Marissa Olivia Lemma. Ashley Jean Leonard. Wenzhen Lee. Carmine Cor Mully. Sophia Miriam. Estelle Freeman McKinney. Catherine Mary McPherson. Michael A. McVeary. Aaron Melly. Jessica Rose Myers. Camilo Morales. Catherine Alice Mulder. Daniel Edwin Nakasoni. Victoria Lee Nelson. Ethan Gregor Novak. Skylar Elizabeth Noel. Elizabeth Nicole Potty. Benjamin Baker Paraboom. Anya Mary Pfeiffer. Alexandria Elise Pinckney. Guadalupe Pinto. Hayden Monroe Pitchford. And baby. Samuel Roger Pittman. Luke Philip Ponzer. Michael Christopher Pugh. William Dolan Rockwood. Savannah Catherine Rogers. Farah Alexis Schneider. Robert Maxwell Schneider. Valerie Renee Bach Snyder. Ian Robert Shore. Nathan Seelan. Andrew Sharp. Sarah Simba. Ashley Nicole Staggers. Margaret Patricia Gilly Stanley. Maya Lenore Stevens. Tihana Stoysavlovich. Caleb Graham Tisdale. Alex Emerson Turney. Hunter Madison Wagner. Douglas Sean Weimer. And Katie Cecilia Wisely. Please join me in recognizing these thoughtful, outstanding, service-minded scholars. I would now like to invite to the podium Catherine Paeschke, the Secretary of the Batten School Alumni Advisory Board, for the charge of the alumni. Joining Katie are the presidents of the Batten Undergraduate Council, Ned Flanagan, and Batten Graduate Council, Michael Pugh. Ned is from Bethesda, Maryland, and is graduating with majors in public policy and leadership and global development studies, along with a minor in Latin American studies. After graduation, Ned will be leading hiking trips for high school students in Costa Rica this summer, and then plans to continue working in the realm of international development. Michael, who is earning his MPP, is from Syracuse, New York, and graduated from St. John's University in 2020 with a major in government and politics and a minor in economics. He is passionate about restoring civility in American life, and after graduation will be joining the American Enterprise Institute as a research assistant.
On this scroll, you will find the names of the 87 students who will earn a Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy and Leadership from the Frank Batten School of Leadership and Public Policy, the class of 2022. It is my distinct honor to represent my classmates here today and ask you to formally add our names to the roster of the University of Virginia Alumni Association. As policy pioneers, we pledge to take seriously the honor of being part of Batten's young undergraduate program and to thoughtfully stay involved as alumni mentors to future generations of Batten students. We also pledge to return to Garrett Hall often, whether for future Batten Hour events, rotunda dinners, garden parties, or just to say hello to the people that have shaped our undergraduate careers.
On this scroll, you will find the names of the 91 members of the Batten School Master of Public Policy class of 2022. It is my privilege to represent my class and to ask you to formally add our names to the roster of thousands of distinguished University of Virginia alumni who have preceded us. We pledge to remain loyal stewards of our program, to engage thoughtfully even with those who may disagree on policy issues, to uphold the example that Batten alumni have set for us, and of course, to return to grounds and visit often.
We're almost there, guys, I promise. I'm keeping this short. On this scroll, the class of 2022, I'm sure you've gotten a lot of congratulations already, but I would like to be the first to congratulate you and welcome you into the Batten alumni community. I'm the representative of the Batten Alumni Council or Batten Alumni Advisory Board, and representative of the alumni community today. You're joining almost 15 years of Batten School alumni, spanning every policy area, industry, working to solve problems on the local level and in the international arena. I encourage you to stay connected to your classmates and engage with other classes through your own plans and through the alumni events. Our 14 events this past year, almost half of which were happy hours and trivias. So, cheers to all of you and welcome to the community.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the class of 2022, this concludes our ceremony.
Be able to sit there at the end and know all your students and give them a little more detail. Not bad.